It took us probably 45 minutes, maybe sometimes an hour, to get over to the university from Wilmore. And Vlad and I had a lot of time to talk, and we had conversations about his life and my life. We discovered that he received Christ at the age of 14. And when he received Christ in the Soviet Union, churches were not allowed, so churches were underground. And he had a friend whose family were Christians. And they invited him to a church worship meeting one night. And there he received Christ at the age of 14. And something else about Vlad. He was a PhD. He was already a doctor. He taught math at the university in the town where he lived. But Vlad was arrested several times for distributing Bibles and religious material. In fact, got to a point where he could no longer teach at the university because of his religious beliefs. And so he came to the United States. He left his family, he left everything back in Russia. And he came to learn how to be more effective at his witness for the kingdom. And I had another friend. His name was Simone Bucci. Simone was from Ghana, Africa. And Simone was he was from the West Coast. He taught at the university as well. He was a PhD. Simone was almost 70 when I met him. And he came to the United States for training, to train other pastors on holidays when campus emptied out and everybody left and went to their own homes. I would take Simone home with me, and I got to spend a lot of time with Simone. Simone was one of the most righteous people I ever know. Very knowledgeable about the Bible. But he wanted to come to the United States to learn how to be more effective at training pastors and helping pastors fulfill their call. Simone, too, left family. And in fact, he never went back home the 3 years that he was here. And when he graduated, his wife and his family came to the United States, and his wife, by the way, was an entomologist. She was also a doctor. These people were not seeking a vocation for the money, but they were answering a call. They didn't have to leave their families and their countries, but they were answering a call. What is it that causes a person to give up job and family and home and just move? I would say it's passion. I would say it's the passion for lost souls. I would say that a person who Christ has called and given this burden, this passion, is willing to do whatever it takes to go wherever he sends, to fish for people, to answer this call. Sharing Christ means that we have a concern for the lost. We can say we have a concern and hurt for the lost, but unless we're really willing to answer, then we have to question our relationship with Christ. Do we really have that kind of relationship with Christ? Jesus was passionate about the lost. In fact, he was so passionate about the loss that he made it possible for us to have forgiveness. He came as a person, a human, died on the cross for our forgiveness. Died on the cross so that we would all be saved. And so these men followed Jesus, and they were of value to the kingdom. These men gave up everything and followed him, and they became quite successful in their calling. For they started the church, and if we look at the size of the church now, wouldn't we say they were successful? But we must accept Christ's commission. We must accept his call, his challenge for us to follow him. The first step is to follow him. And then he promised that if you follow me, I'll equip you to do what I've called you to do. I'll make sure you have all the tools. I'll make sure that you have all of the protection. In fact, he prayed to the Father, those who are going to follow me, protect them, Lord. So he's going to make sure that we have everything we need to answer the call and to follow him. If Andrew and Peter, James, and John were accountants, he would have said to them, follow me, and I'll help you add to my numbers. If they were receptionists, he would have said, follow me, and through you, others will be received. He might have said to the mechanic, follow me, and I'll teach you to fix souls. Whatever the occupation is, whatever was relevant, fishing was relevant. And so Jesus used this fishing to call and to explain to them that he was going to prepare. In fact, he did. Make them very successful fishermen whenever they went back to fish. You remember in the story of when after Jesus' crucifixion, and the fishermen decided to go back and do what they had always done. They decided they were going to go and fish. So they got on their boats and they fished all night. Didn't catch a thing. And Jesus told them, cast your nets on the other side. Cast your nets on the other side. And they did. And they had more fish than they could bring in. He said, follow me. Come, follow me. And if you follow me, I'll prepare you for what I've called you for. Are you ready to follow him? The details might differ for each of us. Doesn't matter what our occupation is. He's called us. He calls us, some of us, to witness within our area of occupation, like my doctor friend. He calls some of us to leave everything, like the apostles and my friend from Russia and the one from Ghana. But when he calls us, he equips us. He provides for us because he promised that he would. All are called to make disciples. What is your assignment? What have you been called to do?